So for this project, a lot of the process of kind of like finding an agent that worked for this case was just kind of understanding how the trades were being done. And so I did kind of like a lot of just like tests to examine how the different agents behave in different situations. I came up with a number of different approaches to try to strategies for a trading agent. One of the strategies I tried, but didn't work, was trying to kind of target the peak areas for the order book price levels in order to or the peak or dips in order to do bids or sell stocks. So to do that, I kind of based it off of I tried basing it off of the simple agent, how it compares to price ranges from the previous wake up and then the current wake up to determine what to buy or sell. I just kind of like did it twice, so it does one for the wake up price range for the time before and the current. And so if this is the current here and then before it would be like here, then that shows that there was like a peak at one point since it's going up and then suddenly it drops. So I kind of tried to target those times to make the buy or sell orders. Unfortunately, I feel like it may have been because of the wake up frequency that led to the overall profits being very minuscule. There wasn't very much change. That could also be due to the fact that maybe there weren't that many cases where that behavior was observed. Another approach I tried was to kind of target times to deciding when to buy or sell. I tried to target areas where there's a steady growth or steady decline. And so I would kind of like use kind of like a ratio to kind of like determine how much to either bid or sell in terms of number of stocks. That didn't work either, unfortunately, because again, I feel like it was probably due to the wake up frequency being way too frequent, so for there to be like significant difference between the previous and then the current price level. So what I ended up kind of just doing was based off the documentation for the project. I think David mentioned how ZI agents operated on like mean reverting strategy to conduct trades. So at that point, I was kind of like just thinking if I just wanted to outcompete the simple agent, maybe find a way to exploit the zero intelligence agents. So since they operate on a mean reverting market, my initial kind of like strategy in that was to start off by like buying up a lot of the stocks to try and drive the price of the stock up. And then after over time, as those stocks are being bought up, then hopefully the overall price or the mean of the stock will increase. And then at which point I would, towards like the end of the simulation, would then sell the stocks for hopefully higher than what the original price would have been. So I tried that approach first, but then I realized that, well, if that price is being like driven up, then you're gonna eventually see a dip where all the traders are going to try to sell the stock since the price has gone up, and then so that actually ended up in many cases me losing profit. So I kind of like got rid of the clause in the code that limited the time of when I could sell the stocks. Initially, I had tried to limit the time to like the last quarter of the simulation. So when there's like a fourth of the time for simulation left, then it would try to sell the stocks. So when I didn't limit when the stocks can be sold, it actually did a lot better. So for the code over here, I primarily built off the simple agent trader. So uses the same kind of ideology of when to buy or sell by comparing the current and then previous price windows at the time. So the idea here is again to kind of like exploit the ZI agents by trying to drive the prices up. So when placing order, I would increase the asking price by like 100 cents so that I could try to buy more of the stock and then make the order book price go up. And then later on, once the time is less than 10 seconds, then we would get our stocks liquidated and turned to cash. So to kind of like test it, so when testing, there were certain cases that it did outperform the simple agent trader, but there were also other cases where it didn't do as well. I think that probably has to do with the random seed being used. For some random seeds it worked, some didn't work that well, so the current one is the default one. So running the simple agent first. And again, going for about the random seed, I think like just the random seed itself will also impact how the ZI agent will make kind of random trades sometimes. Those random trades, like not really based off of like a concrete decision by looking at the stock prices, can actually cause the profits generated by my agent to falter based on the trading window. Okay. So since the total amount is in cents, the simple agent produced around $1,998. And now to try my agent. So for this seed in particular, so converting that to dollars, it's around 2,400. So that's a bump compared to the simple agent trader. If I were to change the seed, for this seed, I believe that it also did better. But then there were other seeds afterwards. I feel like if I change it to the last seed to a 7, the next seed, it's a case where my agent did not outperform the simple agent, and again, I think that's attributed to just the randomness factor with how the ZI agents make their trades. So the overall amount made by the simple agent was around 1,620. And then for our agent, it came to around 2,170. So changing the seed just to show a case where our agent didn't outperform the simple agent. Okay, so with the simple agent, that yielded around $494.48. And then for my agent in this case, I think I recall that yielding around $300-ish, which is under the amount that was yielded by the simple agent. And yeah, I think it's $356.68. So for this seed, it didn't outperform the simple agent.